So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video where today I've got something quite funny I wanted to discuss. I just saw this on Twitter the other day. I think it was yesterday when I screenshotted this, but you can see on Twitter, Treyarch were trending with 2,570 tweets, which made me think what's going on, because right now everybody is focused on Infinity Ward's game, Modern Warfare 2. Treyarch's current game, or their last one, Cold War, isn't really relevant. Everyone's playing the beta, we're all moving on soon, so it just intrigued me as to why Treyarch would be trending. They're not really seeing any new DLC or updates for their games. They haven't tweeted anything themselves. Nothing of relevance anyway. And when you just click on to see what all the fuss is about, it's just a bunch of people asking for Treyarch to return. Salty said Treyarch is the best Call of Duty developer. Sorry, not sorry. Modern Warfare 2 OG said I love you, Treyarch. Another one, come back, Treyarch. We can all agree that Treyarch is the best dev team after today. Hey, you kinda cute, Treyarch. It seems like after what people have experienced in the Modern Warfare 2 beta, everyone is asking for Treyarch to come back. The usual COD life cycle has been broken. We're not having another game from them until 2024 now. It would have been in 2023 next year if we followed the same routine of it being Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward and then Treyarch. Call of Duty games come out every year, however we know that COD 2023 has been delayed, so the next Call of Duty we get will be in 2024 and that will be a Treyarch game. That's 2 years away, which is quite a long time. So the fact that everyone is asking for Treyarch to come back already is surprising, considering Modern Warfare 2 hasn't come out yet. We're still a couple of weeks away from its release. And also Treyarch's current game, Cold War, finished not too long ago. I do get a little bit confused sometimes because Treyarch only helped on the zombies mode for Vanguard, so a lot of people consider that to be their game as well, when really it isn't, just the zombies portion is. But even for Cold War, we kind of had a year 2 for that game, meaning content for it, or when it died out, only just finished recently. It still feels, even though Vanguard is the most recent game, that Cold War actually is. It's almost like Vanguard never even existed. But yeah, because of what people have experienced in the beta for Modern Warfare 2, it seems like people aren't happy with Infinity Ward and want Treyarch back. As far as I can see, the main complaints are Infinity Ward not listening to people's feedback. If you've played it yourself, or if you've just been on Twitter or YouTube, I'm sure you would have heard all of the different complaints that people have had. The main ones being the minimap, the fact that there are no red dots, also the changes to the perk system, dead silence, and Infinity Ward have heard people's complaints because they've responded, and basically what they said in their statement was, we're not changing anything. They said in terms of the minimap, we're not listening to your feedback, we're not going to be making any changes to that, because they think that red dots negatively impact certain players, and there are some other things as well, but that's the main one. And to be fair, the minimap in Infinity Ward games have been a complaint for quite a while now, so for some things it does seem like they're not listening to the community, or they're not willing to. And so that's the reason why people are asking Treyarch to come back, because they do listen to their community. They do, for the most part, not all of the time. Me just speaking from a zombies point of view, because I don't really play Treyarch's multiplayer anymore. The last time I did was Black Ops 2. I didn't enjoy BO3's multiplayer, or BO4's, or Cold War's, so I can't really say if they listen to the community's feedback for those games. But in terms of zombies, for the most part, I feel like Treyarch listened to feedback, but not always. And to be honest, Treyarch have always been the more rock and roll studio out of any of them. Compared to Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer or Raven, I would say Treyarch have always been the studio that says, you know what, we're going to do what we want. We're going to do something different to the other studios. Just in my opinion, Treyarch's games are the most unique. So from that side, you might think if Treyarch have got that attitude, they might not listen to people. But to be honest, they do. Like I said though, not always. There have been a lot of changes that have happened in zombies over the past few years. In Cold War, for example, when that game came out on D Machine, they made changes to the ray gun. I think it was the ammo count. If I'm not wrong in saying, it had been 40 in a clip and then 60 stock. Ever since the ray gun existed, all the way back in World at War, Nectar and Toten, they changed that in Cold War, and when a ton of people complained about it, they reverted it back to how it used to be, and they did that fix relatively quickly as well, within a few days. Another change, for example, Black Ops 4 Zombies. If you were one of the people to pick that game up on day one, and you would have had to have been very quick, because when BO4 Zombies first came out, the health that you had, I think it was 2 hits you could take. It might have been 3, but I'm pretty sure it was 2. And again, a lot of the community complained, and eventually BO4 Zombies was a 4-hit system. Another example, and a big one, because I think that's a big change, changing the health of the AI, especially in zombies. 1 or 2 hits is a massive difference. If you think of World at War, BO1 and BO2 zombies, that was a 2-hit system, and then compare it to zombies nowadays, or BO3 where it was a 3-hit system, and then BO4 where it was a 4-hit system, and then Cold War, which is, I don't know, about 10 hits. Zombies used to be a lot harder than it is now, so increasing the player health within the first couple of days on BO4 Zombies was another big change that Treyarch made because of the community's complaints. They're just a couple of examples, so for the most part, Treyarch do listen to the community. It's difficult to think of a time when they don't. Again, just for Zombies, I'm not too sure about multiplayer because I don't really play the more recent ones religiously from Black Ops 3 and after, but BO2, BO1, World at War were all perfect, so there weren't really too many complaints anyway. To be honest, there aren't that many complaints to be had about Treyarch's games, but when we do, they do listen. Like I said, it's difficult to think of an example when they didn't. Sometimes they fix things instantly, sometimes it might take a couple of days, sometimes a few months after hammering them, but they do it. So it seems like a lot of people are complaining for that reason. That's why a lot of people want Treyarch back, because they actually listen and their games are good when they actually get the right amount of time to work on a game. Not 1.5 years like they did with Cold War or just a couple of months like Vanguard Zombies. When they get the full 3-year development cycle like they did with BO3, 4, even if you hate BO4, you have to admit that game had a ton of content for Zombies at the beginning. When Treyarch do get the full time, they can produce good games, which is why I'm excited for their next one. But yeah, as for the people asking for Treyarch back, unfortunately we are going to have to put up with Infinity Ward. There's still plenty of time, the game actually hasn't come out yet, so for the people who do want changes to the minimap, maybe that could happen, although I doubt it. They have put their foot down seemingly and said, no, we're not going to change this. On one hand, I can see it from their point of view. It seems like the reason they've changed the minimap is to make it more casual friendly. I've said before, there are plenty more casual players out there than there are hardcore players, so the more casual players you appease means the more casual players playing the game, and that then equates to more money, and that's ultimately the end goal for Activision. They want people to be spending money on microtransactions for this game. So from a business point of view, the minimap kind of makes sense, but of course it is going to make a lot of the more hardcore fan base angry, and you're going to see a lot of those complaints over on Twitter. And the fact that we have to stick with this game now for 2 years, all I can say is I hope it's good, and if it isn't, well, that's going to make the wait for Treyarch's next game even harder. Yeah, basically the route that it looks like Call of Duty is going down now is for it to be more casual friendly. And this made me laugh because Landon posted this. He said, I miss this energy from Call of Duty, with this message of the day that we had all the way in, was it BO2? I swear it was BO2. I can remember seeing this because it was so funny. But the message of the day that Treyarch put out was, happy holidays. Let's talk Christmas noobs. It's that time of year again where thousands of new players join the online ranks for the first time. We'd ask you to go easy on the Christmas noobs, but we know you won't. If you're a Christmas noob yourself, don't be bullied. In the combat training category, you'll find a great playlist called Boot Camp. This is the best place for new players to get up to speed in the game and all it has to offer. But it's funny seeing the contrast here because nowadays, COD wants to cater more towards noobs, but we go back to these times and we see that the developers wanted us to destroy the noobs. COD was definitely catered more towards the, it's hard to word it, but players who were more familiar with COD, who knew how to play it. And Treyarch were even making a mockery of this, saying, just go easy on the new players. You know how to play the game, they don't, but, you know, have fun and destroy them. I definitely don't think this is a message we'd see on COD nowadays, and this is definitely more Treyarch humour. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny seeing the amount of people asking for Treyarch to come back already when they've only just gone in terms of Zombies. That's still pretty fresh, and in terms of multiplayer from Treyarch, well, Cold War pretty much had a year 2 in terms of content, so a lot of people were playing that instead of Vanguard. That's quite fresh as well. They've only just gone, Infinity Ward's game hasn't even arrived yet, and people are asking for Treyarch to return already. I think we all know who is the best developer here. I'll admit they don't always get it right, they'd probably admit that themselves, but even with that, yeah, they're definitely the best one out of the bunch. So yeah, there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.